Grief is not a problem to be solved. It's not a condition to be medicated, but a deep encounter with an existential experience of being human. Grief becomes problematic when the conditions needed to help us work with grief are absent. And so we don't get what we didn't get. We don't know what we didn't get. And so therefore we're unaware of what we haven't inherited. And it's okay, we'll unpack this. And so Francis Weller encourages us to develop what he calls an apprenticeship with sorrow. So this is an approach of reverence to a difficult and holy visitor. So imagining a great teacher coming to your table, and you approach that holy teacher, that holy visitor with an approach of reverence. The relationship with this teacher is in and of itself an initiation, in that we cross over a threshold. And thresholds are sacred places, they're holy ground. And a heart that's familiar with loss is able to recognize a still deeper grief, a sadness that is at the heart of all things, that binds us with the world. Yeah, that all that we love, we will lose. Mm-hmm. The inherent impermanent nature of all things. And if all things are inherently impermanent, then surely the task of relationship with impermanence is non-attachment to the fact that we will suffer as a result of loving. It's not detachment from loving. It's non-attachment to my suffering that is inevitable as a result of loving that which is impermanent. Life is beckoning for us to engage in ritual around grief. And so without this awareness, we actually remain caught. Without this awareness of impermanence and the ability to grieve, the cultural systems that help us grieve, we actually stay caught in what Weller calls the adolescent strategies of avoidance and heroic saving. We try to avoid falling in love, we try to avoid our losses, and then we try to heroically save that which is impermanent. And so grief is life force energy. It's necessary for the soul's vitality. And this initiation with grief, through grief, this apprenticeship with sorrow, is part of the maturation process of becoming an elder. It's to carry grief with dignity and with grace. These days, I'm becoming more and more clear that I will not collude with you in your immaturation. Yeah. I'm going to edge you towards the discomfort that maturation requires. And we will not achieve personal freedom or collective liberation without the capacity for discomfort and inconvenience and not knowing. And grief asks us to embrace this as a way of living, as a way of life. And our systems of late-stage capitalism have tried their darndest to sell us predictability, certainty, control, to be able to do what you want, when you want, and know the outcome of all things before you start engaging in anything, part of our larger social milieu. And so in many ways, embracing impermanence and embracing an apprenticeship with sorrow is countercultural.